Preparing for a banking interview at Saudi Awwal Bank SABB interview. You've reached Candy Mentor, and this video is for you. We'll walk through 15 key questions you're likely to face. For each question, you'll see a sample answer, followed by the key points to cover. Subscribe, like, and share, and drop a topic request in the comments. Question 1. Tell me about yourself and why you want to work at SABB. I would keep it concise. I studied finance, built a strong base in accounting, credit analysis, and customer handling. And I am now focused on banking because it combines numbers with real client impact. SABB attracts me because it is a major Saudi bank with international heritage, strong corporate and retail franchises, and a clear role in Vision 2030 growth. I would connect my skills to the specific role and show I understand service, controls, and performance. While answering, focus on a sharp career story, why banking, why SABB specifically, and how your education, internships, client skills, or finance knowledge match the role without sounding memorized. Question 2. What do you know about SABB and its position in the Saudi banking market? SABB is one of Saudi Arabia's leading banks, created from the merger of SABB and Al Awwal Bank, with roots linked to HSBC and a strong position in corporate banking, trade finance, retail, and wealth. I would highlight that it serves Saudi companies, individuals, and international business flows. In an interview, I would avoid generic praise and connect SABB's strategy to customer experience, digital banking, risk discipline, and the kingdom's economic transformation. Make sure to cover SABB's Saudi market presence, merger history, international heritage, corporate and retail capabilities, digital focus, and alignment with Vision 2030. Then, connect those facts to the job. Question 3. How does a commercial bank like SABB make money? A commercial bank earns mainly from the spread between interest or profit income on loans and returns paid on deposits. It also generates fee income from cards, trade finance, FX, wealth products, transfers, and account services. The key is balancing growth with liquidity, capital, credit quality, and regulatory compliance. For SABB, I would emphasize quality relationships. Profitable lending is only sustainable when the bank prices risk correctly and keeps customers long-term. In your answer, talk about net interest margin, fee income, deposit funding, credit risk, liquidity, capital requirements, and the idea that profitable banking depends on disciplined risk management. Question 4. Walk me through how you would analyze a corporate borrower's financial statements. I start with the income statement to understand revenue quality, margins, and profitability. Then I move to the balance sheet for leverage, working capital, liquidity, and asset quality. Finally, I use the cash flow statement to test whether accounting profits convert into cash. For a borrower, cash flow matters most because debt is repaid from cash, not reported earnings. I would link the analysis to ratios, covenants, and repayment capacity. Be sure to mention all 3 financial statements, the link between profit and cash flow, leverage, working capital, liquidity ratios, debt servicing capacity, and why lenders care about recurring cash generation. Question 5. How would you assess whether an SME or corporate client is creditworthy? I would assess credit using the 5 C's: character, capacity, capital, collateral, and conditions. Practically, that means reviewing management quality, audited financials, cash flows, leverage, repayment history, sector trends, and security coverage. I would also stress test assumptions. What happens if sales fall or receivables stretch? A good credit recommendation is not just approval or rejection. It clearly explains risks, mitigants, pricing, structure, and monitoring triggers. While answering, focus on a practical credit framework: borrower character, repayment capacity, capital structure, collateral, industry conditions, financial trends, stress testing, risk mitigants, and how you would present a balanced recommendation. Question 6. Explain International Financial Reporting Standards 9 expected credit loss and why it matters for banks. International Financial Reporting Standards 9 requires banks to recognize expected credit losses, not wait until a loan actually defaults. Assets move through stages. Stage 1 for performing loans, Stage 2 when credit risk increases significantly, and Stage 3 when impaired. The higher the stage, the larger the provision. In a SABB interview, I would connect International Financial Reporting Standards 9 to prudent lending, early warning indicators, capital impact, and why accurate data matters for risk management. Make sure to cover expected credit loss, staging, significant increase in credit risk, provisioning impact, data quality, early warning indicators, and why International Financial Reporting Standards 9 matters for banks' profitability and capital. Question 7. What is the difference between retail banking and corporate banking? Retail banking serves individuals through accounts, cards, personal finance, mortgages, remittances, and digital services. Corporate banking serves businesses with lending, cash management, trade finance, guarantees, FX, and advisory support. The difference is not only customer size, risk assessment also changes. Retail relies more on standardized scoring and volumes, while corporate banking is more relationship-led, with deeper financial analysis, tailored structures, and ongoing covenant or account behavior monitoring. In your answer, compare customer types, products, revenue drivers, risk assessment methods, relationship depth, transaction volumes, and the ways service expectations differ between individuals and business clients. What would you do if you noticed a suspicious transaction, or AML red flag? If I see an AML red flag, I would not ignore it or alert the customer inappropriately. I would gather facts, check KYC records, transaction history, source of funds, sanctions exposure, and the customer's expected activity profile. Then I would escalate through the bank's compliance process and document objectively. The key is balancing customer service with regulatory duty, confidentiality, and SAMA requirements. Controls protect the bank's reputation and the financial system. Be sure to mention KYC, sanctions screening, suspicious transaction red flags, documentation, escalation to compliance, confidentiality, avoiding tipping off, and the importance of protecting SABB from regulatory and reputational risk. Question 9. How would you handle an angry customer who says SABB made an error on their account? I would first listen without interrupting, acknowledge the issue, and confirm the facts: product, transaction, timeline, and customer expectation. Then I would explain what I can do immediately, what needs investigation, and when the customer will receive an update. I would follow SABB's complaint process, document everything, and escalate if there is financial loss or regulatory sensitivity. A complaint is also feedback. Handled well, it can retain the relationship. While answering, focus on listening, empathy, fact-gathering, ownership, timelines, escalation, documentation, regulatory sensitivity, and turning a complaint into a chance to rebuild trust professionally. Question 10. How do interest rate changes affect a bank's profitability and risk profile? Rate changes affect banks through net interest margin, loan demand, deposit pricing, bond valuations, and customer affordability. If rates rise, asset yields may improve, but funding costs and credit stress can also increase. If rates fall, margins may compress, but borrowing demand can improve. For a Saudi bank like SABB, I would also mention the Riyal's dollar peg, liquidity conditions, and the need to manage duration and repricing gaps. Make sure to cover net interest margin, funding costs, loan demand, deposit competition, credit affordability, bond valuation, duration gaps, repricing risk, and Saudi market factors such as the Riyal dollar peg. Question 11. How would you explain Islamic banking to a customer who is used to conventional banking? Islamic banking avoids interest and uses Sharia-compliant structures where financing is linked to assets, trade, lease, or partnership concepts. Examples include murabaha, ijara, and tawaruk. Economically, the customer may still make periodic payments, but the contract form, ownership flow, disclosures, and Sharia approval are critical. At SABB, I would show respect for both conventional and Islamic products, and focus on suitability, transparency, and compliance for clients. In your answer, talk about Sharia principles, avoidance of interest, asset-backed or trade-based structures, common products like murabaha and ijara, customer suitability, documentation, and compliance oversight. Question 12. Why are CASA deposits important for a bank like SABB? CASA means current and savings accounts, and it matters because it gives the bank stable, relatively low-cost funding. A strong deposit base supports lending growth, liquidity ratios, and profitability. For relationship roles, I would not only chase loans, I would deepen primary banking relationships through payroll, collections, payments, cards, and digital usage. The more embedded SABB is in a customer's daily cash flows, the stronger and stickier the relationship becomes. Be sure to mention low-cost deposits, liquidity, stable funding, profitability, cross-selling, primary banking relationships, payroll and cash management flows, and why relationship managers should deepen deposits, not only loans. Question 13. If you had a sales target but felt a product was not suitable for the customer, what would you do? I would never sacrifice suitability or credit quality just to meet a target. The right approach is to understand the customer's need, explain product costs and risks clearly, verify affordability, and recommend only what fits. Strong sales in banking are relationship-based, not pressure-based. If a product is unsuitable, I would rather protect the customer and the bank, because mis-selling creates complaints, losses, and reputational damage. While answering, focus on ethical sales, product suitability, affordability, clear disclosure, responsible lending, long-term relationship value, avoiding mis-selling, and escalating pressure that conflicts with policy or customer interest. Question 14. How would you encourage customers to use digital banking while managing fraud risk? Digital banking improves convenience, lowers servicing cost, and gives customers faster access to payments, transfers, cards, and account information. But adoption depends on trust. I would help customers use digital channels safely, explain features simply, and remind them about fraud prevention, OTP security, and not sharing credentials. For SABB, digital service is not separate from branch service. It should make the overall customer relationship faster, safer, and more consistent. Make sure to cover customer convenience, cost efficiency, faster transactions, digital onboarding, cybersecurity awareness, fraud prevention, customer education, and have digital channels should complement branch and relationship service. Question 15. Why should SABB hire you for this role? I would answer by matching my strengths to the role. Analytical discipline, customer focus, attention to detail, and willingness to learn SABB's systems and controls quickly. I would give one short proof point, such as improving a process, handling a difficult customer, or analyzing financial data accurately. Then I would close with fit. I can contribute to service quality, risk awareness, and business growth while representing the bank professionally. In your answer, connect your strengths directly to the job description. Analytical ability, customer service, accuracy, teamwork, compliance mindset, learning agility, and genuine motivation to build a banking career at SABB. If you are still with us, congratulations. You are much ahead of the rest and serious about preparing for your interview. We hope we were able to add value to your preparation and create some helpful content. Do not forget to like and share this video. Your small act can do great things for us.